It is a deep honor to join you as we pay tribute to a singular leader for our military and our nation, and one of the finest men that I know, General Martin Dempsey.
The military is lauded or recognized or thanked for their service, but also their bravery, right? I mean, the idea that, you are willing to sacrifice your own well-being on behalf of your fellow citizens. And the description of that is bravery. I've always felt as though bravery starts with the bravery of the military spouse.
There's Deanie, of course, Marty's high school sweetheart, lifelong better half, whose grace and resilience and good cheer embodies the military spouses she fights so fiercely for.
When you think about a military spouse, bravery starts there. Bravery starts here in the home, long before it's manifest on the battlefield.
And that was in Iraq. Then she went to Afghanistan. Then he did 2 more Afghanistans after that. I met Marty when I was a freshman in high school. He was a junior. We dated through high school, his first year at West Point. Then we kind of took a hiatus. And then we got back together again as he was graduating from West Point, 1976. He came home from Germany, where he was stationed. We got married on a Saturday and flew to Germany on Monday, and that started the road to being an Army spouse. The Dempsey house was when we were married and kind of when it all started. So the Dempsey house changes a lot. In 39 years of service with Marty, we lived in 22 places.
The Pentagon has sent hundreds more U.S. Marines and Army Rangers to Syria.
The Texas National Guard station here in the valley is being deployed to the Horn of Africa.
4,000 more U.S. troops will deploy to Afghanistan this fall.
This is literally packing up and not coming back for months at a time, or you never know, maybe not coming back.
As a military family, the family serves too. When they're deployed, we ask a lot of our families that I think a lot of people don't. They see troops leaving or the welcome homes. What they don't see is that middle part, which is really tough on families. And so, absolutely, the families serve right along.
Literally, we couldn't do what we do without them. I mean, it's just not possible. Because if the home front is unsettled, and I'm talking about the home front, not only your own personal home front, but the home front of the group of soldiers you lead, if the home front is unsettled, then the soldier's unsettled. And if the soldier's unsettled, we can't do what we need to do.
In April 2004, 1 year after the fall of Saddam Hussein, Iraq was controlled by a U.S.-led transitional government. This period marked a relative lull in violence in the war.
April 4th, 2004, one of the first ferocious battles with insurgents during what was supposed to be a reconstruction mission.
Now an update today from Baghdad with Major General Martin Dempsey, commander of the 1st Armored Division.
One day I went home and he called, and I could tell by his voice, and I said, "Don't tell me what I think you're gonna tell me." And of course he said, "We've been asked to stay 3 more months."
Approximately 20,000 Army soldiers have been extended for 90 days past the 12 months boots on the ground date in Iraq.
And I remember the wall in the kitchen where I lived, where I just slid down and just started to cry.
And we have been moving already to notify the families, first notify the units at home station, and help them notify the families. So the families are already in the process of being notified.
I was at Baumholder, Germany at that time. My husband was the 2-6 Infantry Battalion commander underneath the 1st Armored Division, which is what Deanie's husband was in charge of.
So he said to me, we're gonna get out in front of this and we're gonna tell all the families. So the best way to do it was to have a VTC from headquarters. So we get in the room and we've got all the TV screens from every caserne, and I'm looking at everybody's, heads and shoulders, tissues, and we're all crumbling.
So we walk into this conference room, and I've seen it before, and it was a big, cherry-style oval table, and it had these 2 little black pods in the middle. It looked like something from Star Trek. You know, we were like, you know, don't touch those. And I was like, okay, I won't touch that. And then Deanie got on and Deanie spoke.
And so I started with, I don't know, nobody expects us to be Susie Sunshine, but, you know, doing my best cheerleader, you know, routine. But my voice was cracking through all of it.
Her voice was definitely cracking, so you could tell she was shaken. She was definitely upset. It was really hard for her to tell us, you know, hey, not only is your husband not coming home, but you guys get to be the bearer of bad news to tell all the hundreds of spouses you're responsible for that their husbands aren't coming home.
And so then it stops, what I think stops. The screens all go black. And our rear D commander was sitting right next to me, and he said, "Are you okay?" And I just sobbed in his arms.
And I lean over and I'm like, why is the prompter still on? I was like, oh my gosh, Deanie is just really breaking down and crying, and she's so strong for all of us. I felt so bad. She was all alone. And so I reached out to the little green, the black thing we're not supposed to touch. And I touched it. I reached out and I hit it. I was like, Deanie, Deanie, are you there? Can you hear us? Deanie, are you there?
I hear, Deanie, Deanie. Well, what I didn't know was, although the screens had gone black, they were all still watching me. And so I heard, Deanie, this is Bomb Holder. We're with you and we love you. Oh my God, you know, what that meant.
At that moment when we reached out to Deanie, we weren't reaching out to Deanie as the general's wife. We were reaching out to Deanie as a spouse, as our friend. She was just another spouse, just like the rest of us, missing her husband, dealing with this the best that she can possible.
You'll never know what that meant. That was probably the hardest experience ever, but as hard as it was uplifting too, in knowing how military spouses come together and support one another. He was deployed for 2 consecutive years after the whole year thing that we talked about. When we left 1st Armored Division, this was my farewell gift. This was a replica of our quarters. We had the little 1st Armor sign on the door. This was the crest of the city of Wiesbaden, our coffee group, the yellow ribbon for they were deployed. And then the best part of it was this. So the quilt that the spouses made me as a farewell gift has an angel on it. And they said that I was their angel, watching out for them during that year. They were my angels. So we were all blessed to have that group there when we did, because I don't know how you get through it if you don't have those kind of friendships and support.
The image of the angel on that quilt is, you know, for me, a reminder of what a military spouse can be, is, and must be for us to be as successful as we are as a military. It's the willingness to, you know, kind of set aside your own challenges on behalf of someone else who needs you at a particular point in time.
Dear God, thank you for the food before us. Thank you for all our many blessings. Every night at prayers, we pray for all those deployed and for their families, serving right along with them, because they do. God, please bless all our family members who aren't here with us, especially Chris, who's deployed. And God, as always, please bless all soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and their families serving around the world tonight. Amen.